Hi, Christina.
Hello, everyone. Olivia from Grey County Communications here. Just letting you know we are live on YouTube.
And we have quorum.
Great. Okay, thank you. So I will call the meeting to order. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope your summer is going well, despite some of the weather. But anyway, we'll get through it. Anyway, the first item on the agenda is declaration of interest. So does anyone have a declaration of interest? No? Anyone? Okay. And there are no delegations today. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. And that is report CCR-JAAC-07-25, accessible customer service policy update. And I'm going to state the motion is as follows. That report CCR-JAAC-07-25 regarding the updated accessible customer service policy be received, and that policy 5-1, the accessible customer service policy, be amended as outlined in this report by amending the policy statement, including grade transit route considerations, incorporating assisted devices, and noting expanded training requirements. And can I have somebody from the committee move the motion, please?
I can do it. That's Brooke.
Okay, thanks, Brooke. And can I have a seconder? Can I have a seconder?
I see Christina's hand up.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Christine. Okay. All right. And I am going to hand this over to Kathy Nuno.
Thank you, Chair. And hello, everybody on the committee and municipal members. This policy is up for renewal. We endeavor to renew our policies every 5 years here at the county to make sure that they're current. By and large, this policy is still effective the way it was written, but we do have a few updates to bring it up to current state. One of the things was we updated the policy statement to make sure that it aligns with what we have posted in the multi-year accessibility plan and following the plan also on the website. So we have the commitment statement and we have our mottos, nothing about us without us, and inclusive program services and spaces for all. We added in 3.4, Grey County requires that anyone providing goods, services, or facilities on behalf of the county has received training on the Accessible Customer Service Standard and the Ontario Human Rights Code. This requirement is included in the county's purchasing policy. The reason why this is important is because the legislation says that it's a requirement that this happens. And what we put in the purchasing policy is that anybody providing services or goods or facilities on behalf of the county, those providers would make sure that they train their people who are providing so that Grey County doesn't have to sign up to provide training to Joe's snow plowing service, that they will look after that. And if that wasn't in the purchasing policy, then Grey County would be responsible for providing that training, which just isn't feasible. We also added in 4.4 about the live streaming. And that following the meetings are closed, captioned, and available on the Grey County website and on the Grey County YouTube channel. We also added in under assistive devices, wording that just formalized what we were already doing, but that people may use their personal assistive devices when they're accessing Grey County's goods, services, or facilities. And in the case where an assistive device presents a significant and unavoidable health or safety concern, that other measures would be taken to make sure that the person with the disability can access the county's goods, services, or facilities. I also added in that Grey County provides use of complementary assistive devices where possible. And at Grey Roots, it's very nice that New Horizons for Seniors and Parker Home Health Care provide us with 3 scooters for use by the public at Grey Roots. When this policy was last reviewed, we didn't have conventional transit, and then we rolled that out in 2020. So a number of policies were adopted then. And so we've added section 14 to the policy to talk about conventional transit and the accessibility that is aligned through that. We added a little bit more to make availability of alternate formats more clear in section 16. And talk about where on the county websites you can find how to request for alternate format if you need one. I think that's about it, unless there's any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Kathy? No? I just want to say a great job, Kathy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
And can I have approval for the motion? All in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I did not see Scott. You're good? And Andrew. Okay. Perfect.
Sorry. I might be on a little screen. I'm on my cell phone.
Oh, there
but
you
I am
are.
in favor.
Okay. Okay, thanks. All righty, thank you. Okay, the motion is approved. So the next item on the agenda is new playground designs at Comrit Park and Owen Heights Park. And I will present the motion that in consideration of staff report CS-25-078, respecting playground replacement at Owen Heights and Comrit Park, the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee review the proposed playground replacements and provide advice to the City of Owen Sound in respect to accessibility of the proposed layout and design of the 2 new playgrounds. Can I get someone to move the motion? Scott, perfect. And a seconder, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, and I will hand this over to Eckert Pastrick, Manager Parks and Open Space, and Christina McLean, Committee and Executive Support Coordinator for the City of Owen Sound. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Eckert Pastrick. I'm the Manager of Parks and Open Space at the City of Owen Sound. So I'm here today to get committee input on the proposed playground upgrades in Owen Sound in 2 neighborhood parks, one at Owen Heights Park and one at Comrit Park. Now, the city has been working towards establishing a standard neighborhood playground configuration that consists of a play structure and swings that cater to both junior and senior age groups. The new playgrounds will be compliant with CSA standards set out in Z61420, the Children's Playground Equipment and Surfacing Standard, as well as Annex H of this standard, which lays out the minimum requirements for accessibility for persons with disabilities in public use playgrounds. The playgrounds will also address the regulatory requirements of the design of public spaces standards of the AODA. Now, we developed 2 playground configuration options that were generated, and they were brought forward to the neighborhood for their feedback. The first option, it was a consolidated playground where we combined both the junior and the senior play components and integrated them into one composite structure. The second option involved a junior and senior play structure that were separated. Now, in both configuration options, a bay of swings was included that involved a pair of junior bucket swings and a pair of senior swings. Now, in each option, there are a number of common design components that have been included that address accessibility standards, minimize the maintenance requirements, and extend the life of the playground. So these components included a 2-meter wide asphalt access pathway that brings park visitors to the playground from the edge of the park. This will also include a curb cut and a ramped concrete pad with tactile plates at the road interface. The options also included a 25 square meter concrete pad that serves as a gathering area that links directly to the access pathway and the playground. This area will serve as a circulation hub, provide direct access and smooth transition to the playground ramp leading into the playground pit. An accessible picnic table will be situated on the gathering area pad. A curved playground edge around the perimeter of the playground has also been incorporated. This hard edge is critical in maintaining a defined separation of the engineered wood fiber protective surface from the adjacent grassed area. We've also included a drainage pipe to drain the playground pit, again to protect the integrity of the engineered wood fiber. And lastly, we have included a seating area involving a concrete pad with a bench to support opportunities for seating and social interaction. Now, these 2 concepts were put together in a presentation material, and we held 2 open house, one at each park, to solicit feedback from the neighborhood residents on these 2 options. Now, based on that feedback, specific playground layout concepts were established for each park, which are outlined in the attachment 1 of the report that I submitted.
Can I just make a note about that item there? The attachment was not included in the original agenda package by my fault, but it is in the agenda package now. If you look on the gray.ca website, it is there now for everyone to view.
Would you be
I'll
able
give you a few
to
minutes.
share that, Brittany, as Eckert speaks then? I
Sure.
wonder if, thank you.
So the last piece that I'm going to talk to are these drawings that are in that attachment. So there's for each playground, I have included a layout plan that illustrates all of these components that I've mentioned. And then there's some illustrations to give you a sense of the materiality, colors, configuration of the components of the playground. Okay, so this first one is the layout for Comeret Park. You will see in Comeret we have the 2 separated junior and senior play structures. You will see from Second Street A West, you will see an access ramp. So there's a curb cut access ramp with tactile plates that provides access to a 2-meter wide asphalt walkway. You'll see the gathering area with the picnic table situated on it. And then the pathway extends to connect to the 2 bench pads and an access ramp that takes you down into the play pit. So these are the primary components. From an orientation perspective, we didn't alter the orientation. It is still in a north-south direction. What we did is we moved it further west, just again to improve visibility from the street. So it's more in a direct line of sight as you're coming towards the park. The next few drawings, the next drawing in that particular set would be, is again just the same plan, just a little prettier. With the colors for the playgrounds that we're proposing and the general layout. And then there's a bunch of axonometric drawings just to illustrate what the key components are with the swings, the junior and the senior play structure, and one of the sensory boards. So there are two more, I think there are two more drawings after that. So there's your primary axonometric of the entire playground. You'll see the ramp that's leads down into the play pit from the walkway, the junior, senior play structures, and the swings on the far right. Just another detail illustrating the components from the other side, so you get a sense of full scope of the work that we're proposing for the playgrounds. And I think there's just one more. Yeah, just another angle looking at the same thing. Okay, this is the layout plan for Owen Heights. So the community expressed a stronger interest for one composite structure where the junior and senior components were placed together. There is a spinning element in this playground, but again, moving from say 5th Ave Street East at the intersection of 8th Ave A East, you will see that we're making a pedestrian connection to the existing sidewalk on 8th Ave A East. We will have a pedestrian crossing, and then you've got the components that I've referenced as our standard elements, which would be the concrete ramp and the curb cut leading into the park, a 2-meter wide asphalt pathway that brings you again to the playground, directly to the gathering area with the picnic table, and then the 2 locations where you have a bench and a seating pad, and then with direct access to the ramp that leads into the playground pit. And then there's some drawings, again, to give you a sense of materiality. Again, a pretty illustration of what it looks like from the air with some rendering. And the next few slides, there's an axonometric that gives you a profile of the entire playground. One composite play structure, the junior on the left, the senior on the right. Looking at it from the other direction. And then just some details. The object in the foreground is the spinner. And I think that's it. So as a next step is to finalize the concepts that I've presented here and move into the detailed design stage with the aim of constructing the playgrounds in the fall of this year. So with that, I will open it up to questions.
Yes, Christina.
Okay, so I guess I just have one question might lead to another. Is there so these are the 2 new parks that you're building in Owen Sound. Is there a accessible swing in Owen Sound anywhere?
Yes, there are. I don't have the exact numbers, but there are several. I know that there's one at Harrison Park. I know there's one down, I believe, at the Bay Shore. And I believe there's one more that we just had issues with. Sorry, Pam, say that again?
It's at St. Julian. Yeah.
St. Julian, yes. So we just had some issues with that.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with Owen Sound. Brittany, I don't know if you just saw it. I sent you a picture. So my daughter's in a wheelchair. She's 25, and we just went down to the city, and I left her with a friend, and they put her in an accessible swing at 25 years old. So I don't know if when Brittany comes back on, if she wants to share that picture, but it doesn't seem, I think Owen Sound, because I'm in Hanover, so I think that Owen Sound would actually be our closest location at this point that I know of. And I know I've said this to this group before, is that it's hard to know where to find these things. And I know that every once in a while, like as a town or as a Grey County, we put out a map every once in a while. Sometimes maybe those features, how do we feature those things, or how do you find those? How do you, if I got on and I was like wheelchair accessible swing in my area, how would I find that? Right? Or accessible park, or because I know that's what towns are doing right now. Hanover is one of them. They're like, oh, look at, we're getting a splash pad. Everybody come to a splash pad. So how do you look at she's having the time of her life at 25. I don't know, knock it off the bucket list. We didn't have these things when she was younger, right? So for the families that are like us, 25 years ago, how do you, if I was to type this in like 25 years ago, I wouldn't have found it, but how do you locate this now?
Yeah, I think that moving forward, it would be great to have an online presence for these playgrounds with an illustration of the key components and in particular the accessible components. I know that we're working on a much larger project. So these two playgrounds are geared to neighborhood parks, very localized, 2,000 people. We're also working on a more comprehensive rebuilding of the playground at Kelso Beach at Nawash Park, which will be much more extensive and will definitely be sort of have some significant accessible components similar to the one that you potentially similar to the one that you referenced there. But yes, I think moving forward, we should probably have an online presence where we indicate, how many accessible components so that folks can have a look and make a decision on where they want to go.
Thank you, Eckert. And Pam, thank you.
Thank you. And just to answer a question with a question, I'm hoping Kathy might be able to steer us in the right direction. I know that from time to time we've provided the county with information, maybe for the GIS layer around some accessibility features. And I wondered if you might just be able to comment on that. But I'm just thinking in terms of Christina's question, that through GIS, we might, as Eckert says, as we, look at these playgrounds and parks, maybe be able to identify them. But I wonder if Kathy might be able to comment on that through the chair.
Thank you, Pam and Christina. And yes, through the chair, I would like to thank you for bringing that up. We do have the map. It isn't current. I need to reach out again to our municipal, local municipal contacts so I can get somebody who will sign up to make sure that they review their accessible. This isn't, it's a pretty global thing that staff changes over, and then not everybody gets what they need to be doing. And I feel like this is what happened. I did reach out. Can't remember if it was last fall, but I feel like it was last fall. And I got a couple of people, but not many people. But I do need to bring this back up to the priority list, because you're absolutely right, Christina. People need to know where to go to find the things to make their life better. And I need to help with that. So thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. And Pam. Pam, did you have another question?
Sorry, I don't. I'll lower my hand. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kathy, for that response. Does anyone have any other questions for yes, Scott?
Thanks. I'll just leave this with staff, but just a very cursory search and it populated right at the top of the search engine. But there's a website called accessibleplaygroundsontario.ca. And I wonder if municipal staff can just note that. And it looks like a lot of community-sized or scaled parks are there. And there's a number of tiles which indicate various pieces of interest or structures of interest or features that the park might have that people might be looking for. And it looks like it's really well done. It comes with some photos and descriptors once the tile is selected. So that might just be something for staff to piggyback off of what looks to be a very current website already there. So no further questions. Thanks, Catherine.
Yeah, thanks, Scott, for that information. That's awesome. Does anyone else have any questions for Eckert? Okay, so I'm going to ask, oh, Kathy, yes.
Hi, I just want to check in about the product to use on the ground. Because I know that we've had questions before about product that's been recommended for this, but it actually isn't that great for maneuverability for wheelchairs. So I just wanted to ask about that.
So through you, the chair, yes, the product that we are proposing to use is engineered wood fiber. It is, according to the CSA standard, is an acceptable and accessible material for the playground. Our challenge is the minute you deviate from sort of the standard practice these days is the cost. I do not have the cost to incorporate other materials that are more accessible than this product. And that's my challenge, right? I'm trying to work within a budget envelope and provide as much play value as possible. Right now, the most cost-effective way to provide accessibility to the playground is using the engineered wood fiber.
Great, thanks, Eckert. Does anyone else have any questions for Eckert? No? Okay, thank you, Eckert. We appreciate your presentation. And I would like to ask for approval of the motion. All in favor?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Got everybody? Okay. All right, the motion is approved. And we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the Flesherton Connecting Link. And I will move the motion, or I will present the motion that the report, Flesherton Connecting Link, be presented to the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee for review and comment and provide input on the need for and design and placement of rest areas. Can I get someone to move the motion?
I can do it. It's Brooke.
Okay, thanks, Brooke. And a seconder, please. Scott? Okay. And I will hand this over to Jackie Groves, HR Manager, and Mason Bellamy, Manager of Transportation Infrastructure at Grey Highlands.
Sorry, Jackie, you're on mute.
Of course I am. That's probably better. So we have a report on the reconstruction project that took place through Flesherton Connecting Links, which is Highway 10. We had to address some critical improvement needs in 2023 and 2024. We did run into some constraints with the design along there and had to meet the needs of MTO for truck turning radius there. So we were not able to put in the rest areas based on the proximity of buildings that are located there, as well as entrances, grades, and on-street accessible parking was also something that we were not able to accommodate based again on width. And I am going to let Mason speak to the technical side of things, but we are looking for some input and some comments on our request for an exemption. Mason, can you speak to the technical aspects of the project?
Certainly. So Flusherton being an older community, we had, limited it right of way. The downtown core of Flusherton, the buildings are right on the street front. So we were definitely constrained on how we can reconstruct that section of road. Being with the limited width, the MTO requires a minimum lane width of 3.25 meters. And then with turning traffic, we're getting that 3.5 meter mark. And then to maintain parking, once that was included at the the standard parking width, all the space we had was used up and there wasn't any additional. So for a safety concern, we were not able to provide what our professionals at Burnside would thought would be an safe and accessible parking width. So we had those constraints and we were unable to provide those features in this project. I'm available for any other questions.
Kathy.
Thanks through you, Chair. I just want to respond with the legislation. 80.31 talks about exceptions for exterior paths of travel and rest areas, and it says that an exception would be because existing physical or site constraints prohibit modification or addition of elements. So your exception is certainly within the legislation.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yes, thank you, Kathy. And this, what comes to mind for me is the similarities of this with the town of Stayner. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or not, Mason, but it's the same sort of situation that they have.
Yeah, they have those street front buildings which really limit on future reconstruction.
Older communities,
Yes.
it's not uncommon to have that. And as Kathy said, there's that exemption that exists in the legislation. So yeah, still challenging for
Yes,
sure.
very.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for Mason or Jackie with regards to this? Yes, Scott.
Thank you. Just a question, given the unique nature of the intersection, were you still able to accommodate a proper audible crossing infrastructure to ensure the safety of pedestrians?
Yes, at the intersection, there is new and up-to-date crossing infrastructure. So that has been included in the project. So you have new lights, new crossing signals, and there
New
is an audible function.
signalization, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Pam.
Yeah, and thanks, and through the chair, and I appreciate and certainly agree, and sometimes the built environment is tricky and creates challenges for us. And I would just offer this as a suggestion, but if you can't have any accessible parking on street, if there are any municipal spaces in the nearby area, you might just consider having a sign that would point a traveler to those accessible spaces, but certainly not a requirement, but just throw it out there as an idea.
Thanks, Pam. That's great input.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Pam. Does anyone else have any questions or additional comments for Mason and Jackie? No? Okay. So can I have everybody all in favor of the motion that was presented? All in
Yes.
favor? Okay. Scott, yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Motion approved. And the next item is also with Jackie and Mason, and that is the Lawrence Street Sidewalk Addition. So the motion is that the report, Lawrence Street Sidewalk Addition, be received, and that the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee provides input on the need for and design and placement of rest areas for the installation of the new concrete sidewalk. Can I have someone move the motion, please? Christina, thank you. And a seconder, please.
I can do
Scott?
it.
Oh, Scott beat you to it, Brooke. Thanks, Scott. All right, and I will hand this over to Jackie and Mason again.
Thank you so much. So the next report is for a new section of sidewalk that we're proposing in Markdale on Lawrence Street from Wellington Avenue North to Macduff Street on the southeast side. And that is to complete an entire sidewalk network that's currently lacking, as well as bring up some minor deficiencies that were documented and complete some repairs. So we are looking at some input for tactile installation along that section of sidewalk, or any other suggestions. Mason, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
So our current design we're working here with, we have RJ Burnside doing the engineering for us, and our current concept is to have curb face sidewalk with tactile plates at each end that meet the appropriate width. We have some grading constraints in this section. It's probably why it was left out initially when Markdale got sidewalk earlier on, but based on the need for connectivity on the street, it needs to be included. So we're just looking for that input so we can add that as we move forward in the design process.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions for Mason or Jackie? Kathy.
Okay, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions through you, Chair, just to guide the committee, because the legislation says when you're going to make a change to a sidewalk, that the Accessibility Advisory Committee provide input on whether or not they need rest areas and what they should look like and so forth. And so I just want to ask, how long is this stretch? And is there anything along there that people would be going to as a destination, or is it just more or less like, can you just describe the area? Maybe that's
Certainly.
what I'm asking. Sorry, that wasn't very well asked.
So this section is about 160 meters long on a residential street. The sidewalk would abut about 5 properties on the south side, which is where we're looking to connect to. And then I think across the street, there is 6 or 7 additional residential properties. The street itself really doesn't go anywhere other than the connectivity, other than Chapman's manufacturing plant is in the area, and they do have some staff that use that walk to work, use those streets in that area. So there will be some benefit having their staff be able to be safely walk down the sidewalk rather than on the road, which they may currently do now.
Okay. Did you have any other questions, Kathy?
No, I don't have any other questions. It might be one of those scenarios where there really doesn't seem to be a need for a rest area. So if committee members aren't expressing that they feel one is necessary there, I think we could take from that one likely isn't.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns? No? Committee members? No? Okay. I think we're in a position we can pass the motion. All in favor? Brooke?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Motion is passed. And I just want to thank Jackie and Mason today for presenting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll move on to the next item, which is the multi-year accessibility plan for 2025 to 2029. And I will present the motion that the Town of the Blue Mountains multi-year accessibility plan 2025-2026 be presented to the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee for review and comment. And can I have someone move that motion?
I can do this, Brooke.
Okay, thanks, Brooke, and a seconder, please. Thanks, Scott. Okay, and I will hand this over to Jennifer Patton, who is the Health and Safety and HR Advisor for the Town of the Blue Mountains.
Thank you. So good afternoon, committee. Thank you so much for taking the time to review the town's accessibility plan. We've had the report reviewed by our accessibility committee, and we've also had the report reviewed by our new committee, which is IDEA, Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Accessibility Committee. And now I'm really just looking to gather any feedback for enhancements or improvements to the plan. And the next steps for us will be taking the plan to our council for approval.
Okay. Hopefully everyone has looked at the document. I certainly have. I don't have any questions or concerns, Jennifer, but I will put it out there to our committee members. So does anyone have any questions or concerns for Jennifer? Committee members? No? Okay. Well, great job, Jennifer.
Thank you.
It's not easy putting these accessibility plans together. I know that. Kathy does too. Anyway, okay, so I will, I'll ask for a vote on the motion. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. All righty, thank you. The motion is passed. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and the next item on the agenda is correspondence, and this is with regards to the EASE grant funding announcement, and I'll hand it over to Kathy. Kathy Nuno, I know I just saw this announcement as well yesterday. Yeah, so I'll hand it over to you, Kathy.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, so this funding, I just prior to this meeting was on a webinar with the province about how to apply for this. One thing that's very important to note is that there can only be one application per organization. So make sure if you have multiple departments that you coordinate that. This grant is for municipalities, nonprofits, and Indigenous governing bodies. The deadline for applying is August 14th. The province suggests to start right away. You do have to create a TPON account if you don't already have one. And there will be a, what was the word that they used? There, basically, there's somebody to guide you through it if you connect with them. There are the grants that are available are up to $60,000, and it does look like there should be quite a lot of opportunity there for folks to jump onto that. So I would encourage municipal members to share this with your staff and try to put together an application, because it's there and it's available now. I guess that's about it.
Kathy, just a quick question. Did they indicate how much in the total budget that they had for this?
Yeah, I think it was like $2 million.
Oh, you know what? 2.2. I just
Yeah.
saw it there.
Yeah,
2.2. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay. And we will move on then to the next item on the agenda, which is site plan approval of 2261 9th Avenue East. And I will present the motion that the City of Owen Sound staff report DA-25-005 be received for information. Can I have someone move the motion, please? Thanks, Scott. And can I have a seconder? Can I have a seconder?
Yep, Christina.
Okay, thanks, Christina. And I will hand this over to Christina McLean, Committee and Executive Support Coordinator for the City of Owen Sound.
Chair Schultz, if I may interject, we don't actually need discussion on this one.
Okay, okay. So it's just the motion that's required. I apologize for that. And I will ask for a vote on the motion. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the motion is passed. Thank you. And the next item on the agenda, which is basically under other business, is just to inform the committee that Jacob Morris Wheeler has submitted a letter of resignation effective June 18th, 2025 to the committee. And Jacob has expressed fulfillment in being a member of the committee, and his resignation is a result of a very full workload and volunteer schedule. So we wish Jacob well, and sorry to see him go from the committee. Okay. And I guess the next item will be the next meeting date, which will be Thursday, September the 18th at 2 p.m. Okay. Does anyone have anything else to say before we adjourn? Committee members? Or just have a great balance of your summer, and we'll see you in September. Take care, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Take care. Bye-bye.